Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. And we're going to start today's show off with a bit of entertainment news, if you will. It seems that Showtime has ended their tenure after 40 years in the boxing industry. Paramount is ending Showtime Boxing's nearly 4-decade run in the sport and announced on Tuesday that it would shutter Showtime at the end of this year. The move wasn't shocking to boxing insiders and those who follow Paramount's recent cost-cutting moves, including the potential sale of Bellator, the MMA site. Anyway, what's interesting is I think the statement made by, I guess, the former president of Showtime Sports, Steven Espinoza, among his many comments, he said, "Unfortunately, in a rapidly evolving media marketplace, the company has had to make a difficult choice allocating resources, resetting priorities, and reshaping its content offering." So, among the, shall we say, losers in this deal is the sport of boxing per se, but I would say only in the short term, because quite frankly, in the mid and long term, we're going to see many, many, many more fights available online, on websites, on social media platforms, and of course on pay-per-view as well. Many more than we would on traditional broadcasters who have exited. I think Fox was the one prior who exited before Showtime. But anyway, let's move on to another announcement we made recently regarding broadcasters, in the particular case NBC and Peacock. They were looking forward to broadcasting an all-UK bash between British stars Joshua Buatsi and Dan Azeez on October 21st. But that particular clash has been postponed due to Dan Azeez suffering an injury, apparently a back injury, in his final training sessions. So let's quickly move on to better news, much better news, quite frankly. We haven't heard these two names in a while, but two of the young ladies who are really sparking an interest in the sport of boxing are going to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe. Yes, Ebony Bridges and Avril Matthew are going to go toe-to-toe for the IBF World Bantamweight title the same night that Devin Haney and Regis Prograis are going to have their fight for the WBC World Super Lightweight title. So I certainly look forward to seeing Avril Matthew in the ring again. I thought she was robbed her last time out because she fought over in London against a matchroom opponent. But this time around, she's facing Ebony Bridges, quite a hell of a fighter out of Australia. And this is going to be a really, really, actually, they're both out of Australia originally. But Avril Matthew is now based out of Florida, and I'm sure Ebony is probably in Las Vegas or Los Angeles. Anyway, speaking of Devin Haney, they seem to have a bit of a battle, him and Regis Prograis, okay? Regis Prograis said that Devin Haney paid to have a Mexican loss stricken from his record, and this is somewhat upset Devin the Dream Haney. Now, as I said, they're going to go toe-to-toe for the Super Lightweight Championship, and quite frankly, he goes, "So I'm hearing Devin lost a fight in Mexico early in his career, but he paid to take it off his record." This is what Regis Prograis aired on social media. If that's true, that's the weakest shit I've ever heard in boxing. The press conference is Tuesday, and reporters should not let this slide. Just got confirmation it's true. You all reporters better do your research, he added. Oh, my God. So anyway, Haney responded after digesting what had been said. The San Francisco native also blamed the narrative on WBA champ Rolando Romero. Only a dumbass would believe some shit like that. This info is coming from Rolly. That should tell you enough, said Haney. It wasn't long before Prograis denied he had spoken to their divisional rival about anything to do with Haney. I didn't talk to Rolly about anything. As a matter of fact, fuck you and him. More people know about your little secret than you think. Fraud. Anyway, what a war of words. That's a new one on me. But anyway, into the fray steps Eddie Hearn. And according to BoxingNews24.com, Matt Lieberman, he says Eddie Hearn states he plans on matching the Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis winner against Ryan Garcia. Hearn believes the fight will be easy to make, considering that Ryan, 23-1, 19 knockouts, is with Golden Boy and fights on his own like those two. When asked about Oscar De La Hoya wanting to match Ryan Garcia against WBO light welterweight champ Teofimo Lopez on February on Super Bowl weekend, Hearn said that would be a situation where it would involve a different network, ESPN, and he believes that Teo would make the negotiations difficult. Some boxing fans will object to Ryan challenging the Haney Prograis winner because he was recently beaten by Gervonta Davis. But his tune-up fight on December 2nd against lightweight fringe contender Oscar Darate is a fighter that doesn't compete at 140. WBC light welterweight champ Prograis, 29-1, 24 knockouts, has a mandatory, Sandor Martin, who's supposed to be challenging for the next title. If Hearn is already planning on bypassing Sandor with Ryan Garcia's fight, he's going to have to give him a step-aside deal. So there you go. Bit of news from them. More news out of USA Boxing, and this is putting us on notice with respect to another heavyweight, an American heavyweight coming up through the ranks. This one still fighting in the amateurs. His name is Josh Edwards, and what makes him a challenge, so to speak, for the other heavyweights out there, knowing that he's only right now looking at Paris 2024, but he says my defense is way better than all my supers in the heavyweight division. I've never been in a ring with someone faster than me. It's interesting because we have been reporting here on Talk and Fight about the heavyweights that are going to rise up and surpass Deontay Wilder. I think Deontay Wilder's on a show called The Trader nowadays, and has maybe moved on from boxing, seeing he can't really find an appropriate challenger over in the UK or elsewhere. And the top 4 or 5, no one counted on Zhilai Zhang, by the way, knocking out of the picture Joe Joyce not once but twice. So there is a bit of a change moving, and I look forward to that change happening in the heavyweights. And this is a name we're going to have to pay attention to. Josh's boxing techniques go beyond the ring. When walking into a practice or a match, Edwards' positive and upbeat character fits the gym, making everyone laugh and have fun. Josh got his motivation from one of his idols, Roy Jones Jr., who we recently had on Talk and Fight. Edwards stated that Roy Jones Jr. was best having fun in the ring. Jones Jr. was known for taunting and smiling and toying with his opponents. The super heavyweight out of Houston, Texas, has hopes to live up to the historic city. Edwards has the goal to represent Houston and be the first Houston super heavyweight since George Foreman to qualify in the Olympics. Battling through adversity and being motivated by his father and loved ones, Josh Edwards is a name that boxers around the world will remember. So we've been put on notice by USA Boxing and look forward to hearing more from their team as they move forward towards Paris 2024. In other news, out of Nottingham, Leigh Wood vacates the WBA featherweight title as he promised he would after clobbering Josh Warrington. WBA featherweight champion Leigh Wood has decided to move up to the super featherweight division, leaving the WBA featherweight belt vacant. The British fighter recently defended his crown with a spectacular knockout over Josh Warrington back October 7th and had already announced unofficially his intention to move up to 130. This week, his team sent the formal communication of his decision to the WBA, and now the WBA Championships Committee will make a decision regarding who will fight for that vacant belt. Speaking of fights, we got a couple of doozies coming up. In the super lightweight division, we've got contender Jack Catterall, who's defending his WBA Intercontinental title against former middleweight world champion Jorge Linares at the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool. Catterall is a 10-1 favorite over Linares, who has dropped 3 straight. Also, we have WBO number 1 welterweight Alexis Roca, 23-1, 50 knockouts. He's facing undefeated Giovanni Gallo del Oro Santillan, 31-0, 16 knockouts at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. Roca is a 7-1 favorite, though, to erase that 0 from Santillan's ledger. All right. That, my friends, wraps up today's news. Hope you enjoyed it as I did. I'm looking forward to Avril Matthew getting back in the ring. Looking forward to seeing the progress of Josh Edwards. Looks like a decent heavyweight fighter to come out of America and challenge some of those mouthpieces out of England. All right, boxing fans, thanks very much for joining me. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you later on at 4 p.m. when I join Mike Gore of his show, Knuckle Up. Thank you.